Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hi, I am Muhammad Nafizul Sadiq from Group 20 of Cst306 Section 11. Today we want to talk about Pridilata Wadedar, a pioneering female member of anti-British movement in this Indian subcontinent. She was from Chittagong and conducted an attack on 23rd September 1932 on a European club situated beside Pahartali Club station. The club was known for its head piece, Indians and dogs are prohibited sign. She was inspired by Rani Lokhibai. Also, Desher Katha, Bagha Jotin, Khudiram books are inspired her most, and these books are from her relative Punendu Dostidar. Master Surya Sen decided to give the responsibility of this attack to the female revolutionaries, and Pridilata Wadedar took the chance. She conducted attack on this European club successfully, and after injured, to avoid arrest and torture, she committed suicide by consuming cyanide.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Tanjina Akhtar Preeti. Today I will speak about Pridilata Wadedar, a fearless leader and revolutionary, and her role in the attack on a European club in 1932. What obligation do leaders have when their people face unjust systems? Pridilata Wadedar was just 21 years old, a young freedom fighter who refused to stay silent in the face of injustice. Under British rule, India saw cruel signs like dogs and Indians are not allowed. One such sign hung at the European club in Chittagong, a symbol of racism and humiliation. But Pritilota believed that leaders don't just speak, they act. Wearing simple clothes to hide her identity, she led a group to attack that very club, setting it on fire in protest. She knew this is risky, and when capture seemed certain, she chose to swallow poison, becoming a martyr for Indians' freedom. She did not fight for fame. She fight for dignity. Her action lit a spark in others who dare to dream of a free India. Her courage was not loud, but it was powerful. She showed us that when the system is unjust, with no comfort, but with conviction. A Pritilata story reminds us leadership means sacrifice, justice, demand action. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Nabil Mahmood. Now I am going to talk about the suppression of British colonial system used to do at that time and that influenced Prithiloda Wadedar to become a great leader. Firstly, the political science and the operations. The British colonial system used to do violence, racism and the oppression among the people of Indian subcontinent. According to the print 2025, the European clubs used to do a sign that called dogs and Indians are not allowed. Secondly, the personal motivation. Pritilota Wadedar was a political leader and he was aware of the injustice that was happening at that time by the British rule that influenced her to fight against the British rule. Thirdly, she joined the Surya Sen's revolutionary group that believe only the actions can bring the changes. That's why he adopted the military methods to fight against the British rule. That's all from my side.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Saqib bin Sadek. Prithiloda Wada's leadership was born from pain, the everyday humiliation and violence of British colonial rule. One of the worst symbols of that was the European club in Chittagong, which had a sign back then which said, "No dogs and Indians are allowed." To Prithiloda, this wasn't just a sign; it was a weapon, one that attacked dignity, and like unlike any true leader, she chose to fight back. Under Mastarda Surya Sen, she trained secretly and led a team of revolutionaries to attack the club in 1992. It wasn't just a physical strike; it was a message. The Indian youth would no longer tolerate being violated, being treated as less than a human. When cornered, she made her final decision to take down her own life rather than be captured. Even in death, she denied the British their control. The threat of colonial violence didn't weaken her, it made her stronger, more fearless, and more determined. She turned to oppression into attack and silence into resistance. Pritilota showed us true leadership is not about possession, it's about courage in the face of justice. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Burhanadi. On this part, I will explore how the balance between morality and defiance plays a crucial role in shaping ethical leadership. Ethical leadership often faces a difficult dilemma. Should one comply with unjust norms to stay morally clean or defy them, even if that means crossing accepted lines? The answer is in the history itself, where we can see that some of the most morally driven leaders were those who stood against systems that claimed authority but lacked justice. When oppressive forces dictate what is legal, ethical leadership often demands defiance, not out of rebellion for its own sake, but because morality cannot survive in silence. The key lies in balance. If a leader leans too far into defiance without grounding it in moral purpose, their actions risk becoming destructive. But if they cling too tightly to moral ideals without confronting injustice, their leadership becomes passive. Ethical leaders must navigate this tension to act boldly but with integrity, to resist but with responsibility. The balance isn't theoretical, it is visible in the lives of real people. Pritilota Vatidar is one such example, if not the greatest example in my view. Her act of resistance against the European club wasn't blind aggression, it was a response shaped by ethical urgency. Now, how much defiance can be granted to become moral duty at any situation? That's what will be answered next by my teammate through Pritilota Vatidar's immensely courageous journey against injustice. Thank you. That's all from me.
Hello everyone, I'm Asma Akhtar. So, what does it take for a 21-year-old woman to choose death over silence? Not fear, not weakness, but fire. Fire against a system that told her she wasn't even equal to dog. Right at the entrance, a sign made it clear, dogs and Indians not allowed. She didn't protest with a banner. She walked in with bombs, fires and dream of freedom. Pritilota's story reminds us that great leaders do not wait for permission from unjust systems to do what's right. She didn't hold official power, she didn't carry a title, yet she became a leader because she was willing to sacrifice everything for freedom. She was only 21 years old, a bright, educated woman who could have lived a peaceful life, but instead she embraced pain, secrecy and eventual death because she believed that change required courage louder than fear. So this wasn't a goodbye. It was just moral declaration. It shows how she believed that individual sacrifice is justified when it awakes the consciousness of nations. Her rebellion teaches us that leadership is not just about action, it's about vision. And sometimes that vision demands crossing lines, shaking comfort, and defying norms to reveal the deeper truth. It teaches us that morality without courage can become compliance, and courage without morality can become violence. Pritilota found the balance. She became the leader her people needed, even when it meant embracing death. So her legacy challenges every future leader with one question: are you brave enough to be moral when morality demands defiance?
Hello everyone, this is Rifat Noyutashan. So to conclude, we already know what happened in 1932 and her crucial decision to bomb the British club. So, was her decision appropriate? Given the brutality of colonial rule, it was not only appropriate, but it was necessary. It was powerful. It gave voice to the voiceless and inspired countless of people to fight against injustice. Though violent resistance are hardly the ethical choice and should be avoided most of the time, but given the dire situation of that time, where all the peaceful avenues were blocked, it is very important and it was necessary. She chose sacrifice over silence. In conclusion, her choice showed us that not all ethical choices are the peaceful ones, but it was always the ethical choice that are rooted in bravery, in purpose, and in her fight for justice.